Hey guys, Johnny Good here. Today I'm talking about working with limitations. Whether you're mixing on a laptop in GarageBand with some earbuds or you're a chief master at Abbey Road, you're going to have limitations. Us as humans are limited. We have bad days, we make mistakes, we're fallible. And in the past, I used to get really, really frustrated. I used to try and get ahead of myself, work against my limitations, kind of have gear envy, believe that, all this stuff was going to, escalate my abilities. And I used to, like I say, work against those limitations rather than embracing them and incorporating them in my work. The truth of the matter is we are always learning. The best of the best is always learning. The minute you start doing this, you're going to be on a really awesome, wonderful adventure. And embrace the learning. Accept there's going to be mistakes. Accept you're going to look back in 5 years and go, I can't believe I mixed it like that. I can't believe I did this. Everyone does that. But it's kind of enjoying the learning and accepting the path that we're on, and the learning and the mistakes is cool, and actually being limited by things is kind of something which makes us, I think, kind of intrinsically human, working within our surroundings to make great stuff. So the first topic I'm going to talk about is monitoring. So I work in a home studio. Monitoring is going to be super different from a home studio environment to like a pro studio environment. Mainly because of the room. You can't see from this angle because everything kind of looks kind of nice when I'm doing this shot, but from behind this camera I've got a mirror over there, brilliant, directly behind me, so I have to kind of put up a false wall when I'm mixing. There's a window here also, so that kind of more reflections, hence kind of the false wall thing. And then over this side it's quite a big room, so I'm kind of just stuffed in the corner. And I've got some guitars and racks and things here. So it's kind of, it's not a home studio, it's a bedroom with some stuff in the corner. So, situations aren't perfect. Your situation probably isn't perfect either. It may well be like mine, or you've got your own spare room or something. But it's not ideal, and it's certainly not ideal to be putting studio monitors in. These are my Presonus Eris 4.5s, which you may well have, if you subscribe to my channel, you'll probably see my review. I think they're great home studio monitors. They sound fab for me, and they're a real revelation when I got them. But of course, they're kind of limited by the room that I've stuck them in. All these things like the mirrors and the windows and the size of the room and the corners where the bass is going to get stuck and things like that are going to alter how I can hear them. Now, I've done my best to kind of minimize that I can by putting some of this foam in, which is like uncomfortably near to the speakers, but it's the best I can do in the space I've got. It's my limitation. And the more I've used the monitors and got to know the room, I can kind of work around them. I know that listening back over the last few months, between 250 and 400 is sometimes lacking in my mixes, so I tend to overcompensate for that a little bit. So it's getting used to what you have. That's probably your best kind of asset in a way. Using headphones as kind of a second reference, I think, is a really good way to work. These are, again, not expensive. These are Samson SR850s. They're semi-open, so not so much for tracking, more for monitoring and mixing. About £40, probably cheaper than that online. So I got them at PMT. I really like those. Again, I've got used to them. And they kind of fill in some of the gaps which sometimes I'm not hearing on the monitors. And also the great thing about these is the sound's going direct from the headphone into my ears straight away, so there's no coloration. So in that sense, headphones are kind of your best friend when you're working in a home studio. The third thing are these, which are, if you can see those, super duper cheap computer, like laptop speakers. These are actually my wife's, so they were free for me. You can pick anything up, really, kind of the crapper the better, really. What you just for emulating what people might be listening on, whether it's laptop or the your iPhone speakers, maybe things like that. Anything that's going to kind of reveal maybe something else, and also give you an idea of what people might be listening your mixes on. So what it's going to sound like when there's absolutely no bass in it whatsoever. And I also find that really good for freshening your ears up. So when your ears are getting fatigued from listening to your monitors, no matter what your monitors are, you're going to adjust to them. Give yourself a bit of a break. Sometimes just flick those on, listen to it in a completely different environment, and some other things start coming out of the mixes. The other things I do have are these, which I've had for years and years, and they're Studio Spares SN10s. I got them for about £50 in London. I carried them on the buses and the tubes all the way from North London to South London, and I really like those, again, as reference speakers, kind of doing the same job as these little JBL computer speakers do. I used to quite like just putting them in a random place in the room, just sticking them in the corner or something, just to give myself a different listening space. I can't do that at the moment because I just don't have the space, but kind of using them in the same way as the Yamaha and S10s, as that kind of quite flat, quite a bit muddy kind of speakers they are. So using those as a kind of second reference to these, but the kind of computer speakers do the same sort of job for me. So just to kind of summarize, when you're in a home studio, you don't have to spend very much money on monitoring. 120 quid new, pick up some computer speakers for £10 on eBay and some better than bargain basement headphones. If you can spend £40 or £50 on something like these, then great. If you can spend more, even better. But the main thing I find with most of this is spending time with it, getting used to it, and getting used to your room. Sure, giving your room some treatment, but getting used to your space, listening to how other pro mixes respond in your room, and understanding the faults of the room and compensating is part of the trick. So it's working within your limitations. Things I wouldn't go out and do. I rush out and buy super duper expensive monitors and think that's going to fix the problem, because a lot of the problem, as I say, is going to be in your room. So save yourself some money. We're talking under £200 to get all your monitoring sorted, and then spend time with it. So I hope that was helpful. That's monitoring and working with your limitations to make for a happier life and a more enjoyable, positive music making experience. Cheers for checking this out. I've got more in the series to follow. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to my channel. Check out my website, johnnygood.com. Happy recording, and have yourself a great day.